challenge it instead of eating that torpedo.
Yeah, eating it for some good. I mean, look, that's what it is. You're just pushing back. That's a nice freeze. That's a nice catch there as you're just forcing him back into the corner. And I mean, I feel like we're seeing a completely different Peacemaker here. A Peacemaker that's just willing to do the unsafe option, willing to just go in there head first. Get out of there. Not in time yet.
He was very brave for going against Kano. Oh! And there's the up-block punish. And this should be in dark at 0.09 health. We see Jusmeezy go to the end, or go throughout, lose winner's top 8. Oh my gosh.
And now Mikey in big trouble. Oh wow. Armored interruption. Man knows the gap. Alright, one overhead. Need more. No, the down one. We finally blocked it.
This time, yeah, that's the first time we've seen it blocked, and there's the punish. Just do the damage. Face
Something we can use.
Michael's going to need 2 clean hits to get that breaker out first. Okay, counter poke, hang on. Oh, that was nice. Oh, Captain Hindsight strikes again. If only it were nice.
Use that meter for anything except breaker. Throw the sword, resummon Senko. Like, that's literally all he wants to do.
Can Meezy bring it back from his sub 100 health deficit? Oh, yes. And I say that, yes, you absolutely can. The JK does come through, gets a glaive combo sender, and you're just act this man in the face in the corner forever and ever. We get also are able to set up
one reset. That's all he needs is one reset.
That's it, that's all you need. Okay, we push back a little bit here. Now you're that.
He got it. We got it. I don't know. This is going to be close. No, we're shaking hands. It's over.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Poseidcast. With me tonight I have the Subzero god himself, Kingsguard's Jusmeezy. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I love that. Thank you. I love to have you. And yeah, anything to say before we get into some questions and stuff?
Thank you so much for having me, Poseidon. I really appreciate it. Reptile Goat. And I'm ready to get started.
Love to hear it, man. So, you're from the Tri-State region. That's actually the first time I saw you playing at Mortal Kombat NJ, and then you went to Evo, had a pretty good run and stuff like that. But what was like the first thing that got you into like competitive Mortal Kombat? I don't recall seeing you around in the MK11 days. I'm not sure if you've been playing previous games. So, what was that like? Okay,
so my first Mortal Kombat game ever, that introduced me, was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I played every Mortal Kombat game, just constantly played. And I was like familiar with the comp scene, I know people play for money, mm-hmm. but I wasn't like too familiar with it. And I didn't really get as strong as a player mm-hmm. until I would say around MKX. MK9, I was just I know combos. You know what I mean? That's all I know. I go online. Same. I win, I lose most of the time, MKX is when I'm like, all right, I got shit flowing. And then both the Injustice games. And then when Injustice came around is when I kind of started to see players and all these cool clips, mm-hmm. And this is legit, mm-hmm. A little bit of MKX as well. I was seeing Tom Brady and stuff, because I'm always looking out for Subzero, because that was always my guy.
Yeah.
So MK11, I was just all these games just playing ranked, not really in the comp scene. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I made my Twitter on MKX, mm-hmm. but I never used it after MKX. I used it a little bit, mm-hmm. just tweeted, and then I just decided to make a Twitter for MK1. Mm-hmm. MK11, I was playing I was good, mm-hmm. but MK1 was different. I was the same level, good, but then it's now I see Armor. He's hey, here's a local. I checked the address. The local wasn't too far from my house. Mm-hmm. Boom! Right from there, I met Armor, met MK and J, and my very first opponent was Mist. I'm really? I didn't know who Mist was, and I'm like, I might get my ass whooped. Mm-hmm. I managed to win, mm-hmm. and then Wraith comes up. Wraith is thinking that Mist won. He's coming up ready to fight Mist, and then I'm like, no way, I won. And then I fight Wraith. So these are my first 2 matches against these 2 gods. Yeah. And then Wraith kills me 3-1. Mm-hmm. And then I fight I'm fighting her. Next thing I'm fighting Kaz, and I'm just fighting everybody. And I'm like this is fun. I'm doing this every Friday. Yeah. It was the greatest the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah.
And it was Hercules that instilled confidence in me. He's like, oh, you're doing this good, this, that, and the third. Before, when I'm playing MK11, I'm not learning from my mistakes as much as I did in this game. So that's what introduced me to the comp scene. I would say Arma, MKNJ, Hercules, those are like the biggest. You know what I mean? That's what really got me into the scene.
There's some legends, absolutely. Just being like, you know, it definitely is a bit of a privilege. You know, I'm from upstate New York, but I still have some like locals and stuff like that. Because not a lot of places have that. Like if you were in like the middle of like Arkansas, for example, you wouldn't have a local that has Hercules and Wraith and Mist and Silence and Cosner ran by a legend in the community, Arma. So definitely cool that you were able to get in touch with that and get involved with the community. So, as I mentioned, you know you're the Sub-Zero god, debatably the best Sub-Zero player in the world right now in Mortal Kombat 1. Has Sub-Zero always been like your go-to character, or did he speak to you kind of more in this game?
Okay, so the funny thing is, Sub-Zero wasn't the first character I ever picked. Like when my first game is Deadly Alliance. The first character was Scorpion. He stood out to me. Funny, I got both of them here too.
Oh,
Scorpion
yeah, that's the same background.
Yeah, thank you. Scorpion stood out to me, but then like I think it was like a loading screen where I seen Sub-Zero and his alternate skin because he was old in Deadly Alliance. I didn't really like his base skin. His alternate and that was like, this character looks sick. I need to unlock that. So I remember just grinding out in the crypt, you know, looking up on Google like, you know, like how to, what to unlock, like where's it at, fatalities, because you had to actually look up fatalities back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then once I got my once I got my hands on Sub-Zero, and then the follow-up game was Deception, I believe.
Yep.
And he had like the Shredder helmet, and I'm just like, this character's sick. And then from pretty much every Mortal Kombat, I was just like, Sub-Zero. And then MK9, like he was too slow for me, but I still used him. But I used every other ninja. And then in Injustice 2, I had Sub-Zero. I was just like, Sub-Zero was just always been my guy. Always.
That's sick, man. Yeah, because like Sub-Zero has kind of been known to be a little weaker in this game. I think that's kind of like the community's consensus, like bottom 10. There's some people are like, oh, he's really strong, but I think every character in this game has something good. And I think it just kind of goes from like the top has really, really egregiously broken stuff, and then like the low tiers have like good stuff. They have some sauce, but they don't have it pales in comparison to what the top has. As the game goes on, I feel like the meta character or cameo for Sub-Zero has changed. He really was relying on damage, or still kind of does, and that's why a lot of people were using Serena. And then when Chameleon dropped, but you recently have been kind of going out, it seems like, your own path, picking up the Sonia. What kind of influenced you to go that way? Especially because you're someone who does compete and does take the game seriously.
Right. Okay, so the funny thing about Sonya was right after Evo, right? Because right after Evo, we're all like running to the little Mortal Kombat booth because it's an updated version, and we know, like Chameleon's getting hit. We know Sub-Zero's getting changes, and with the Chameleon nerfs, that's really what kind of led me to like, because Chameleon, I think Fan on Hit was being nerfed. A lot of things about Chameleon was getting hit, and that kind of led me to like, I need to start something. You know what I mean? And I started the Sonya project immediately. I put 2 great Sub-Zero players, Train and Rona, in a group chat. I'm like, yo, I think Sonya's the next cameo for him. I'm like showing little clips, and then I go on Combat League with Sub-Sonya. I get my ass whooped. I'm like, I'm dropping this cameo. I was like, this shit is not for me. And I just started playing Cam again. The game was like, it was much different, you know what I mean? Like for Sub-Zero, at least everything changed. I'm like, all right, I was kind of understanding it. And like I had a lot of Sonya stuff mapped out, and I seen Foxy use the projectile, and the way he was utilizing the projectile. I'm like, oh shit, that added an extra layer to my game. So when I added that along with already what I was teaching myself, I'm like, I can make this work. So then I'm like, let me just play Sub-Sonya on my height. I had like a breakout Combat League performance. I'm like, wow, I'm killing people with this. You know what I mean? I'm like, as I'm understanding the game more, I'm like, this team's much better, and I'm not killing myself. You know what I mean? you just sometimes you want to break out the habit of killing yourself, and I feel like Chameleon, you kill yourself a lot.
Yeah, that was a big thing with me. Honestly, I realized that I was, like I said, I was on Reptile Chameleon for a while. I realized that I was like killing myself. I felt like I was almost like playing the lottery. Like it was just like I would do something and it was like it worked half the time and didn't half the time, and I was getting punished. I was like, I didn't like it. I felt like I almost was like kind of like throwing up to the gods, being like, you decide if I win or lose.
Right. It's like your win percentage is all based on your opponent. You know what I'm saying? It's not based on like you're adding the layer of mix, but still, if your opponent is anticipating it, because you only got 2 mixes, right? It's not like you got like low overhead. It's not. It's just this or this, right? Especially a Reptile. And now I got a question for you: is that what made you go to Sonia as well?
Yeah, basically, I felt like Melina was probably with Reptile's best like variation, because Chameleon just changes constantly. But Sonia kind of gives you that. You get the combo extension, like she does with the air size. You get the overhead. It's not as quick, but the trade-off is it's safe. It does push back and it's plus on block. So it's like, okay, maybe you don't get the true mix-ups, but you get another layer of safety, which kind of, instead of being like you live and die by the ball roll, it's like I throw out the overhead. The best case, scenario for them is they block it, and now they're plus. I mean, I know you can block it, but then that adds more layers of mind games that I think benefit my character as well. So that's basically what my decision making was. So is the plan to stick with the Sonia for the foreseeable future,
Yes.
or do you have anything else in the works?
Yes, I feel like right now I'm using Sonia a lot, but I'm trying to see matchups where Sonia doesn't really work, and I'm looking at 4 cameos right now with Subzero. The Sub cameo, the Sub Serena, Sub Chameleon, and Sub Sonia. Sub Sonia is my main base. I can play clean Mortal Kombat. Sub Cam's dirty. You can play clean, but it's a dirty team. And then Sub Serena is on the safer side, damage, and Sub is like, I'm out of there. You know what I mean? I'm not playing the game.
Because I think that's something where I feel like sub players kind of have thrived, is that he does have a somewhat strong runaway game. It can be a little boring to play, and like it doesn't look really flashy, and like I feel like the chances that you get hit, because it's like if you're minimizing the amount of interactions that you have, then the opponent's not getting hit really either, or they're getting hit with chip, and then you lose the damage war. So it's like risky, because it's like, all right, you hit them with 5 projectiles in a 20-second span, and then they get one opening, and now the game's even again when you have been winning the neutral. But he does like with Ice Clone and stuff like that. With that the ground freeze moves. The ground freeze move is like kind of underrated, because then it freezes their opponent or makes them go in like slow mo. So if they do like anything and you hit them with that, and they do something that's kind of punishable, it just amplifies the punishable nature of it and stuff. That's caught me sometimes. Frustrating for sure.
I'll tell you a secret though. I'll tell you a secret. And I think mid-screen, if I do Deadly Vapors and you block a Reptile, you could do Diabolical Dash. Punish everything.
Oh, really? That's what like I am afraid of, because I'll do something like that where it's like, oh, I got hit, and I'll do it, but then I'm like caught in the freeze. I feel like I have to wait a little bit.
You have to block it.
Yeah.
You have to block it.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's inconsistent. That's my biggest complaint with Subzero. It's like, I think the character's good. Like we both said, no character is bad. But the inconsistencies with Subzero is what keeps him just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't have this big jump up because his overall game plan is just inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's a defensive trap-based character, and I'm kind of like, Subzero's play lane because they're trying to frustrate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm frustrating you. I'm poking you. Now it's like when you finally, oh, I'm gonna poke back. Up, you get hit by clone. Or up, I'm jump back dive kick.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
These are like little things that Subzero can fluster you. And my opinion on how to fight him is you have to be patient.
Yeah.
You have to be patient, and you gotta know his options. If you don't know that, and you're fighting Sub Chameleon for the first time, I can see why some people would hate it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, like playing like you, player like you, and like train. Definitely it's definitely the most patient I feel like I have to play in this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's because especially that matchup, it's like Reptile has a lot of stuff that kind of deals with Sub, and then Sub has a lot of stuff that kind of deals with Reptile. There's stuff with like jump back clone or jump back dive kick when I try to like counter with like back three or something like that. But then it's like if you throw out a projectile, my force ball just goes through it, and then I still have the active hitbox. So I can see how, but it really comes down to just kind of who can get their hits and stuff. It is really just a matter of playing patient. And I feel like that's something that this game has kind of, in a way, like devolved into with, you know, the vortexing, and, you know, characters like Havoc, for example, can mix you into your whole life bar. You kind of almost like, you don't want to like make it too easy for your opponent to get the hit. You almost don't even want to interact, because once they get the hit, it snowballs so quickly. How do you feel about the current meta in the game? I know we talked a lot about Subzero, but how do you feel about overall? Do you think the balancing isn't great right now? What do you think's going on with the game currently right now?
I think the game is not in a bad state. I think the game is in a pretty much good state when it comes to balance. But, you know, then you have some outliers. You just have some things. It's just like right now, in my opinion, like, remember when Chameleon was running the meta? Like, that is, people moved on. People still think Chameleon's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That moved on. Right now, it's the Sector, Bravado, and Janet era. And I feel like Janet is a little more honest because she takes like actual execution. Bravado autopilots your combos, so people are just doing things preemptively, and it's like you're always gonna get the combo in Bravado, always. And then you got Sector. I don't even need to talk about Sector. It's like I do whatever the fuck I want, and then it's just like boop, you get hit with a rocket. Now I'm blowing you up. You have no health, you get hit with full screen safe fatal blow. So like stuff like that has to go. I feel like Havoc, they did good with his buffs, but they just made him too strong. You know what I mean? He hits too hard.
Yeah.
That character's hitting you for 40%, and he has like 400 health. You know?
Yeah, extra 100 health, dude. That's nuts.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Homelander, I despise that character. I just hate vortexing characters. I think
the nerf that they gave him, making the laser mid, normalized him a bit.
It didn't kill him.
Yeah.
It did not kill him.
It didn't kill him and normalize him though, because now it's like, okay, I can kind of put conscious effort into making a read on command grab. When it says like, oh, is it overhead? Is it low coming? Oh, now I'm getting command grab. Now it's like, okay, I'm gonna block high, and I can read command grab, and I can like consciously be like, that's gonna happen. So that's nice.
And then when you have no movement because you're trapped in the corner, you're like guessing. Like you're literally like when you're getting off the ground, you're guessing. Yeah. It's the scariest thing ever. Like it's really scary. I'm so glad that character is nerfed.
Yeah.
I feel like he was by far probably like the most oppressive character in the game.
You think so? I think in a way, and this is kind of a little bit of a hot take, the Homelander nerf Reptile a bit, because I think Reptile did really well in the matchup. I really enjoyed playing it. I think Reptile got answers, the range, the zoning. I could close distances and stuff. Zone Homelander being in the air with Force Ball and Sonya mixed in, it was like I was able to.
Dark is doing really good too with against Unjust Kukui.
And now Homelander's gone, and like I think Havoc's a harder matchup, Sindel's a harder matchup, Natara's a harder matchup, Scorpion's a harder, like all the characters that are now like the definitive top tiers, Reptile isn't as strong against. And when it was kind of ran by Homelander, it was like, all right, I get to play, probably still a losing matchup just because of the power difference, but I had answers and felt like I could really just, if I was making my right read and stuff, I can win. So in a way, I do feel it's a little bit harder, but that's just interesting hot take. What about you talked about like Homelander, Havoc. Who else would you have in kind of like your top 5-ish like characters?
It just, I'll have to honestly look through the roster. But like what's coming off the head, like Sindel's a character that she's really strong, right? She's just strong, neutral, strong, everything. But like the only thing that I feel like is like, oh my god, is the hard to blockables, right?
Yeah.
You agree with that? The hard to blockables is insane with her.
Yeah.
And then Scorpion is just like Scorpion, like he's the Scorpion Farah is like, I honestly feel like I can teach my little sister that and she's the racket.
It's so little effort for such a huge reward.
Yes. It's like he gets hit, whatever he gets hit with is so measly. Like people are like, oh, you can just armor it. I know this happened to you. You ever try to armor, you don't armor, you end up getting hit.
Yeah,
Now
like the back three, like in the Pharah timing is like super weird. You have to do it like right when Pharah's about to come out. It's like so strange.
And the motherfucker can jump.
Yeah, he can fucking pain and gain. He just pain and gain. You armor, and now you look like an idiot. Now you're eating double damage combo basically.
Yep, and then he could grab you, loop you. His Scorpion's insane.
Yeah.
And all the Scorpion Jacks, like the team is just like stuff like that. I feel like it holds back the game's comp scene, and that's not to come at any player directly. But I feel like when people are watching, like as far as an audience goes, they're watching like Death Spin into Jacks. They're not going, "Oh shit, that's cool." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When other fighting games got traditional combos, when people are seeing like cool combos, like variety, I feel like that's when people are enjoying it. But that ain't it. You know what I mean? That's holding back the comp scene, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when it kind of stinks that it does feel like kind of like the upper echelon of characters when it's really broken. It's also kind of lame in a way. It's kind of lame to play against. It's not really fun. Like maybe this is a hot take. I do think Sindel probably would be one of, if not the healthiest, like top one. Like whoever's above her gets a little bit more normalized, and because at the end of the day, someone's going to be top one. Someone's going to be the best character in the game always. And if we don't want it to be a perpetual cycle where the best character is just going to get gutted, then we have to. It's basically coming to consensus of which character is the healthiest top one. I think she would be one of the healthier ones. But as you said, like these metas are really healthy for the game. There's basically like, because we both compete and stuff, and there's basically like two types of people. I feel there's people who want to win with their character, and then there's people who want to win, period. And that's maybe 50-50, maybe even slightly more of the people who want to win, period. And the thing is, I can't really blame people when they're picking up Homelander, or they're picking up Kenji, or they're picking up Havoc, because they want to win. At the end of the day, it's like, I'm not sure if you're into sports at all, but it's not like a team is going to bench their best player to prove that they can win without them. Like, they're going to just give themselves the best chance to win, which is playing their best players. For some people, they're going to give themselves the best chance to win, and that's going to be with the best character that's out right now. And then that's up to the community to be like, hey, we'll call it out, because we definitely do, and then NRS to do the rest. It's interesting. You do you have any like tournaments you have coming up that you want to go to? You have your eye on. I know we have the Pro Comp coming up. So what's next for Jusmeezy in terms of competition?
Okay, so we have Frosties coming up right now. Like, I think there's still a chance that I can go. Like, there's a chance I can go, but I'm deciding not to. I'm holding off on it because, like, the one thing I could say about these tournaments is, like, depending on the location and everything, it can get expensive. You know what I mean? And I'm at a state right now where it's just like, if I do that, I'm gonna put myself in a hole. And how happy is that gonna make me?
Yeah.
I'm based on this off my last experience with East Coast Throwdown, and East Coast Throwdown was a stacked tournament. Do not get me wrong, you were there. You know it was stacked, full of great players. But it's just like I hate to say it, but like, it's missing that, like, it's missing the other entrance. It's like the entrance which is filled with sweaty players, and it's just a whole line of entrants, and it's like, I'm like DQ. I'm playing a OK player. I'm playing Gur.
Yeah.
I lose to Gur, and now it's like I'm fighting a godlike player, like fighting another godlike player, and then I lose them out. Just like that. So it's like I paid all this money to get all the way out here, and I'm playing 2 or 3 sets. Like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I can pay $20 for NK&J monthly, and it's like, it's kind of like the same level of competition, just ECT had way more people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also,
very frustrating.
Online, it's free. You don't even have to leave your house. You can decide, I can turn right now, I can turn on my PlayStation. And, I mean, I probably can't find a tournament tonight, but certainly basically every day of the week, you can find a tournament.
I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like the stakes are low on online tourneys.
Yeah.
Like, if we do like offline and online, I feel like
offline. I agree.
Because like when you're sitting right next to the person,
Yeah.
you're not just sitting at home in your ass. You know what I mean? Just calm, relax. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, this guy's right next to me. You know,
It's
you
different.
both kind of like nervous, but you're kind of excited. You're like, you know what I mean? Like this is gonna be a set. You know, you paid money. And like I said on ECT, I paid all this money.
Yeah.
Everybody did the same thing. I'm not special. So I in the back of my head, I'm like, this guy's fighting for his life the same way I'm fighting for my life. You know what I mean? So it's just like, sometimes people are upset they don't get top 8, but like, hey, you know, like there's some people that go 0-2, 1-2, getting like 13, 16. That to me, that's impressive because you put yourself on the line. You paid money.
That's the thing with the people that do show up to these tournaments. They are putting it on a line, because like, you know, you can enter these online events and, you know, you don't do that well, and it kind of just fades into the oblivion. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you know, you're not on the top 8 graphic. Yeah, exactly. You enter tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
6 days.
but when it comes to online, like the results are out there, and people kind of like to like downplay, like, oh, you know, nobody cares about these tournaments. But like when there's a big online event, the community's paying attention, and or offline event, the community's paying attention. So when if you don't do that well, or you know you get 17th or whatever, like, you know, you can still be like, that's pretty good, but like, it's kind of out there and the people know and they see, you know, who you beat and who you lose to and stuff like that, compared to if you just stayed at home, you know what I mean, and maybe you enter tournament, maybe you don't even enter tournaments, you just play Combat League, you know what I mean, and every time you get a good win you go to Twitter and be like, hey, and then you can kind of like, when the other people are, you know, putting the time, their money to go to these events and play, and the way I look at it, it's the most legit way to play the game. Like, if you truly want to know this person's better than this person, offline in a bracket is the best way to determine that.
Best experience. It gets your name out there, right? When you this is how I joined KG, right? Just playing offline, you know what I mean? You know, people notice you, and it's just like meeting people, having that good time, you know, sharing that. That's all stuff you do not get online. You don't get that same experience online. Like, if I was just playing online tournaments, I wouldn't be the same Jusmeezy as if I was wasn't playing the offline tournaments. The offline tournaments kind of like, you know what I mean? And then the best part is, what you gonna say?
I said that's your, like, where the community is. It's like, you know, if, you know, if everything was a house and the community, like your local would be like the foundation, and it's like, that's like kind of like your home. You know, when you go to these big tournaments, or when you're you know, even online playing events, like, you cheer for the people at your local. Like, I want the people who go to my local to do good when we go to events, or when they play online. It's kind of like, you have that. It's kind of like your sports team. It's like, that's the team that's local to my home, and I kind of vibe. Like, I feel better or worse depending on how they do and stuff like that. So I think that's a big part that not everyone gets, and I wish more people had. Right.
To add to that, right? Like, what you're saying is right. Like, all right, I lost in ETT. I was so upset. I'm like, I could have did better. You know what I mean? Thinking about like not committing in one situation, I was like, I'm getting a down 2 fatal blow. I didn't commit to it. I tried to like press R2, and then I got grabbed. I died. Fucking pissed at myself, right? But then it's like, I got teammates made it to top 8. I got friends from MK and J that made it to top 8. It's like, I put that aside and I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you said was spot on. And then it's like, you run into them in Combat League, it's funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, that experience you can never get. Like, me just playing ranked in MK11, MKX, I'm upset. I would have rather been 16, 17, going out there, getting my ass killed, meeting people, than be that 16, 17, or just playing Combat League. Like, I went to the comp scene sooner.
No, me too, because I've been me and Skash have been playing Mortal Kombat games since as long as I can remember. Like, his dad had the Ultimate MK3 cabinet when we were like 4 years old, and we kept getting a new game. But I didn't know about it, like the competitive scene, until basically MK11, because I played competitive Smash, and that kind of like, I kind of saw like, oh, people play competitive MK. It's like, I've been playing MK for a while. So all right, when the next MK game comes out, I'll, you know, like, look up tutorials and stuff. Like, I knew how to get better at fighting games because of Smash, and it's definitely different, and it had its own challenges and trials and tribulations. But this kind of I wish I found it sooner, but I'm happy I did, and I'm gonna, you know, do what I can while I have it. Sure.
Do you feel like old age plays a factor? You know what I mean?
In terms of what, like, how it's harder to improve because I'm older, or like
this question is just in the air. It's like nothing specific to it. You know what I mean? You see these young guys' reactions are insane.
They're nuts. Like watching Kale. Like Kale is crazy.
Prodigy, right?
He's flying around like an Energizer Buddy reacting and stuff.
But you know what's funny? It's like, all right, I'm gonna like compare two players, right? Kale and somebody like Hercules, right?
Yeah.
Like when Kale plays, like there's no disrespect to him. Like he plays like he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't care what he does. It's like he's gonna do it and he thrives off of it.
Yeah.
Then it's like you know, I'm the best. You know, this is my 20th tournament win. And then you got somebody like Hercules, where it's just like, this dude's a lawyer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so we got a kid that doesn't give a fuck.
He has
and
a whole ass career. Like, yeah.
I have to think about outside of this game.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you're playing the game, it's like I'm not trying to OS, but you know what I'm saying. It's just so much different.
Yeah.
So much different. It's funny.
It's funny how you talked about how Kale, because I noticed that too. He kind of has like that. He doesn't really care. And I think that's really strong, because I feel like when you are kind of attached to it, it's like instead of you wanting to win, you want to not lose. So you started making decisions that it's like, all right, I could have got the win here, but I could also lose here, so let me not do that. So it give me a more advantageous situation. You end up passing on situations and stuff like that. And I feel like whenever I have had big tournament runs or stuff like that, I've always had like I don't really care how it goes. Like, it's whatever. You know, yeah, I'm not to play for fun. Maybe it's just a situation or the mentality I have, and I can't always tap into it. But whenever I do, I feel like I always play better.
No, you're right. Right when you're like playing in a tournament and it's like you don't feel like a lot's on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just spoke about before. Like if Kale was in my situation, he would have just ducked. You know, if I get grabbed, I'll lose. Fuck it. You know what I mean? But like me, it was just kind of like I was trying to do it in a way where I'm like safe in both options.
Yeah.
And it was getting me killed. And then I'm just like, damn, you know what I mean? Just little things like that. Like if I didn't care as much as about my result, I would have just neutral ducked. And that's the thing. Same thing with Combat League. Combat League, people play like you can hit them on an overhead 10 times, and they just will get hit. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because there's also like when it comes to like Combat League, where whether you win or lose, nothing's different. You're gonna queue the match anyway. Like when it's bracket, it's like you win, you move on, winner side. You lose, you're like out of the tournament. You're done for the night. And it's like I enjoy like competing. Like my favorite part is competing. Like I enjoy playing the game for fun and stuff like that. But if I didn't have that competitive, there weren't brackets and stuff, I don't think I would play it nearly as much, because that's kind of like what I do. Is like I like prep for it. So it's just it's so different in the competitive aspect.
Yeah,
so
competitive. It's so much there. I feel like the game feels better when there's more on the line. You know what I mean? Like if I'm just playing, like I don't even like long casual matches. Like I'm not lying to you. Like I'll play casuals with somebody, and then like eventually they'll just like really get the better of me.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care. There's nothing on the line. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I always take that as practice, right?
I think that's a big thing, is that when you are trying to get better, you really do want to work on things, especially like in a match while it's happening, while you have to make the reads and stuff like that. Because I think when you're trying to always win, like that's the only thing that matters, you're only going to use the tools that you have. You're not going to deviate from something that is kind of in the unknown, or it's like, in this situation, will this work, or something like that. Like for example, I was playing someone who was using Kung Lao, and like the armor move that he has, I was like, I saw him do it, and I was like, I wonder what happens if I kind of like react with Fatal. And then I did it, and then he just flew to the other side. He was like, "Whoa." I was like, all right, no, you can't just react with Fatal. That's not how it works. But I ended up dying for it. But it's just like, if I didn't do that, then maybe there would be a situation where I'm in tournament, and I think like maybe I could Fatal Blow here, and I do, and I lose. It's like I'd rather lose the friendly than
right. You'd rather lose the phone for it than losing when you spent $300, paid $50 for a room. Yep, 100%. 100%.
So we've kind of got into it. Do you have any potential like preparation you do like before a tournament, or any like mentality things? I know some people they meditate, or they try to eat healthy before, or things like that, or get a good night's sleep. Is there anything like mental preparation or things you do, rituals before tournaments or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a couple, right? So like one of my biggest things, this may sound stupid, but like I just like to do everything but Mortal Kombat, right? I don't like to play the game as much when I'm getting ready for tournament. Like, you know, if I get there early, I'll do a couple casuals, like I said. I'll be sandbagging, you know what I mean? I'm not lying, I'll be sandbagging. But like, because, you know, I feel like it takes a lot of energy and effort for me personally. I don't know how other comp players feel when I'm locked in. You know what I mean? Like playing super slow. I love that feeling, but it takes a lot of energy for me. And so like I just don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to think about that. I don't want to overexert myself. I don't want to burn myself out. I just want to chill. And then I like to listen to music, and I kind of go into every tournament, like whether you're my best friend or not, I go to every tournament thinking like I can destroy every single player. You know what I mean? Like I'm going in to kill. You know what I mean? So I listen to music. I like to pump myself up, and I just like to stay away from Mortal Kombat until it's time. You know what I mean? That's my personal preparations.
No, I think that's really good, because burnout's a real thing, and I see some people, like, they're able to play for like just hours and hours. I feel like after like 2 or 3 hours, like I'm playing at a significantly lower level. And so I'm usually someone who like I like to get like 20 minutes of warm up maybe with just a couple friendlies, and then just kind of make sure my hands are moving right, and then go into the bracket.
I got a question for you, right? On the same topic, right? Think about it this way. Imagine playing Combat League, like where like you haven't played all day and you play an hour versus 8 hours straight. What do you think you'll do better?
I'll just play for an hour for sure.
Exactly, right? Well, then you're like, you'll get frustrated, and then you'll lose your next 3 games, and you're like, yo, I can't lose 4. Then you'll lose 4. Then you get matched up against Mighty Unjust. You're like, I just have this one. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes.
Yeah, and then you're fucking crashing out, and then you're like, you know, I get it, and then you get that random Natara player who's like, I don't know that tag, but then they're fucking dive kicking, you know.
Dive kick 50%, and then you're like, all right, I'm not getting off till I get a win, and then you lose 3 more.
You're like, all right, I'm getting off. I think you're salty. And you're like, why did I play those other matches? Like, you know, I completely understand that. So I feel like recently in the Mortal Kombat community, it seems like there's been a lot of, maybe I'm offbeat, like dooming. I feel like, so we got the announcement a couple weeks ago. It was like a leak that they're ending, after this combat pack, they're done updating the game. I'm not sure how, I'm not going to go and say that's confirmed or anything, I'm not 100% sure, but it's pretty much accepted that that's the case. And then we get this, I mean, the Ghostface update came out, and they took away his knife cancels, which was like a big thing. One of the B&Bs, like, I went to play him again, I tried to do it, I was like, oh wait, yeah, they got rid of that. And then, like, they show the Conan gameplay, and if people are saying he looks too stiff, and now we got one day at Frosty's where the whole tournament's just going to be Fridays, and this was prepping up to be one of the biggest MK1 events, it felt like, kind of, because it was kind of like in like an off season, whereas before the pro comp, but it hasn't been a big event in a while, so a lot of people are planning on going, and then we see the attendance numbers, and now we're like 20th or 21st in terms of signups out of the whole event. How do you feel about the current state of Mortal Kombat in terms of that aspect? I know we talked about the meta and stuff. Does that affect you at all, or are you kind of just still just minding it out and on the grind, or how do you feel about it?
Honestly, I feel like it affects me and it bothers me, but it could bother the next person much more, because I have something like the MKNJ monthlies, and you know, as long as we have getting together for that and this comp, like, I'll be fine, because, you know, for my first experience ever, this is like the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even have conversations with my family some days, because I'm just like, Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat. And it's like, you know what I mean? My dad's fucking calling me Subzero and shit. It's funny. But it's just like,
that's awesome.
I love this. Like, I love this. So to see things like people constantly complaining about it, saying, oh, this game is dead, this game is dying, this sucks, all this negative talk, like, it really upsets me. Like, I'm not one of those people that'll fight you. You know what I mean? You're entitled to feel that way. You're entitled to, but it's just like, it really bothers me, because it's just like, you know, like, what about the people that do enjoy it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like can I enjoy my game? Like I want to continue playing this game. Like I want this game to be supported because I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat with the next title, I don't want to fucking wait 4 years for the next Mortal Kombat game and 3 years of waiting, the game is dead. You know what I mean? The current game is dead. It's like, it makes me sad. It does.
Yeah, I'm saying.
It makes me very sad.
No, I definitely feel that, because it's like, on one hand, it's like, oh, just ignore it, just, support the community, just do what you can, but I feel like it's just like everything that kind of comes out, there's always this negative spin. And,
oh my goodness.
And
only Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Only.
And I see people really grinding and really putting in a lot of work to build the scene, whether that's the TOs like Destroyer or Aquaman, or like people like Wuxi Temple, or even us, or Leaf Live and OT for the Demon Lobby, all putting in a ton of work. And then there's countless more. And then there's people who are also like really good content creators. Like I really enjoy like Pulse has been putting out a lot of work to put out some really cool content, and he's also super sick at the game. And I feel like there's a lot of effort that's going in, so it kind of stinks seeing that, because I feel like there's two sides to the coin, because there's people like, oh, well, we're just voicing criticism, and then there's the other aspect of it where it's like, it seems like you're just kind of shitting on the game, and like
dunking on it. Yep.
The way I look at it, who in their right mind is going to be like, all right, I want to play a fighting game. I don't really care what fighting game. I'm getting into fighting games, and they're an active Twitter user, and they can kind of see the landscape of how it's at least perceived on social media, because that's where a lot of people get information from. Let's be real. And like, who in their right mind is gonna be like, out of all the fighting games, I'm kind of coming into play and saying I'm gonna pick Mortal Kombat based off what they see. Like, nobody.
Right.
Like, we're not bridging people. We're not drawing people in, and some people can say that's on NRS, but the way I look at it, the person who invented a basketball isn't in charge of the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, just because they made the game doesn't mean that they have to do, like, we're getting a second pro comp, which is awesome. We aren't guaranteed that. I think there's one aspect of, like, we look at what all these other things have and look at what we don't, but then there's also look at what other people don't have and look at what we do. Like, we get new games pretty frequently. We have this community and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I just think that's just kind of my aspect, and I feel like I want to.
That's actually a great aspect, to be honest. Yeah. It's just like I said, it really saddens me that like Tekken could just release the same characters in DLC, and Mortal Kombat tries to be different. You know what I mean? I wasn't the biggest fan of Terminator Conan. Yeah. But like, I just asked Paul the craziest thing. I asked him upstairs. I'm like, you know who Conan is? He's like, fuck yeah, Conan the Barbarian. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's funny, and then you see that, and it's like, all right, Invincible was popping, The Boys was popping, John Cena as Peacemaker, like, they did all those great things, and then they come out with something that's a little, like, everybody's just dunking on it, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is ass, like, this animation sucks. Like, I don't feel like any other fighting game gets as much criticism as Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat players hate on Mortal Kombat, and then the people that hate Mortal Kombat join that side. It's just like,
that 100%. I was at, like, I've been honestly working on a video where I've been kind of just taking stuff like all like the hate stuff and like copy pasting and kind of working on it. Eventually plan on making a video about it. But it really does seem like there's a bias towards hating and dunking on MK more frequently, whether that's the community or the game or NRS or a Boon. And you don't really seem to see it. Like, I'm involved in the Smash community. The Smash community gets no support from Nintendo at all. Actually, Nintendo will actively try to harm the game. They don't really care about balancing. They don't really care. Like, they do make balanced patches, but it's not like conducive to the competitive scene. Like, they don't really care about it. The competitive scene is all grassroots, and they're kind of just to the whims of this company, and they are still able to thrive. Like, Smash is probably the biggest fighting game in the world in terms of like player base.
I have a question, right?
Yeah.
Because Smash is one of those games where, like, casually the game is phenomenal, right? Like, if you have 8 people, you fucking have a great time with that. Do you feel like devs cater more to the casuals? Like, this is not just for Smash, this is for all the fighting games. Do you feel like they cater more to casuals than the comp scene? Like, obviously they do, but you get where I'm coming from. You know, like.
So I feel like Smash 100% casual, MK 100% casual. The thing is that Street Fighter and like Tekken I feel like are created basically with the competitive scene in mind. I think for MK, it's kind of like an added bonus. They're like, okay, here's all this stuff, the fatalities, the story, the characters look super good. Here are all these really cool skins. And it's like, oh, for the competitive scene, oh, there's like, you know, there's stuff within the game, and the game's really deep, and you know, you can get into the frame data and all that stuff. So it's like, Street Fighter and Tekken, I feel like, are really made with that aspect in mind, while MK and Smash are kind of, that's like an additional layer. It's not like, and you kind of for Smash, like you have to change the rules. You know, you have to ban 90% of the stages because 90% of them are just goofy and weird stuff.
For items?
Yeah, did you turn off items? No, yeah, there's no items. Like most of the stages are banned. You know, no final smashes. Make sure you use certain rules and stuff like that. So it's like, MK isn't like that to a degree. I mean, there is some weird stuff like Fatal Blow. Like you can change like when it has armor, like in the settings.
Really?
Yeah, like there was a time where it was like online and offline where there were like two different things. Like for one it's like frame perfect, or like instant armor, and the other one's like 6 frames. It's strange, for sure. When a game like Street Fighter or Tekken, I feel like that would just be baked into the game. Like, oh, this super has armor on frame 4, and that's just straightforward.
But another thing, right? Street Fighter and Tekken kind of like have the same template every game. Mortal Kombat steps outside the box, always tries to keep something fresh and new, and I love that. Yeah. The reason why is because you can always go back to play the other games.
Yeah.
I see people saying, "Oh, MK11 is so pretty to stand in third." They have MK11 for PS5.
Yeah.
Go play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can put your MK4 disc into your PS5 and play it. It's like...
play it. You always have the Injustice 2. You're doing amazing work with still trying to keep Injustice 2 alive. And that game, oh my god, Injustice 2 was so great. Go ahead and play it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Bi-weekly, there's prize pools. You can win money playing that game still. So.
Right. And it's like as far as Tekken and Street Fighter, it's kind of like when you got the new... Excuse me. When you got like the new hot kid on the block, you don't really want to go back to the old game. You know what I'm saying? Unless your character's there or something. But like, you get what I'm coming at, right?
Yeah, where it's like a more updated version of the game. It's not like legacy game. I think that's how they refer to it. Yeah. Like
I'm so glad Mortal Kombat is not a legacy game.
Yeah.
Because they had that, right? It was like that in like Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon, all kind of similar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they took a style off every now and then, like in a game, but like overall it was like, and it ended. It just ended like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got 9, X, 11. Like we could look at all 4 of those games and look at like combo compilations, fatalities, and it's just like different.
Yeah, it's all different, and I think for better or for worse, some people don't like that, some people do. But it does add a freshness aspect. It is interesting because it's like, you would think with the freshness that would get more people into it, but I think people kind of like, oh, like you said, they prefer X or they prefer 1. They kind of want a more polished version of those games. And I really, there kind of is, because there are people who do still play MKX or Injustice 2 or MK9, but I feel like for the amount of people that say they prefer these other games, those previous games aren't as big, which is unfortunate and something that I personally want to work on. I would love that when these majors come out, like Frosty's or CEO or Combo Breaker, that they have at least one other NRS game there.
Yeah,
I think that'd be smart.
A little 10-20 man bracket is fine.
Yeah, exactly. They'll get more people to go out, and then if it's, like every year, it's like, oh, this tournament is going to be, is going to have Injustice 2 or whatever, like that can kind of become a tournament that people like try to make it out to every year or something like that. Cause, and whether that's, we all agree to, there's one older MK game like MKX, everyone wants to go back, and now we have MK1, MKX next to each other, or it's a different one. I just think that would be healthy, and at least currently where we are now, where it's like we kind of have confirmed that we're done with support after Combat Pack 2, but we don't know what's coming next. I think that'll be healthy because, if people want to go and play other games, they can. Like I said, there are these previous games that are still unexplored. MKX was the main game for like 2 years. Justice 2 was less than 2 years. like MK9 was 2 years. And, like, these games didn't have a ton of time in the spotlight. There's still a ton of stuff that goes into them, so it would be cool that we explored them.
And those games is great, right? Like Injustice 2, hella content. MK11 had hella content. Like I feel like NRS put a lot of time into that game, and then MK1 came out a little rough with like everything wasn't out, and like now people are going back saying, oh, they missed the intros, the outros, but these are not things that they were complimenting while they was there. I feel like every time a new Mortal Kombat game comes out, it's kind of like people are more appreciative of the old one, and then you know what I'm saying? Like it's always like that. It's always
that's what I said. Like it's kind of like the terminology is like graduation goggles, where it's like, you know, high school. It's like high school sucks. Like, you know, you have to go wake up early, you have classes, whatever. But when you graduate, it's like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna see my friends again. Like, I'm not gonna see my teachers again. Like, you know, all these people I'm not gonna see again. You kind of like look at that kind of fondly. It's kind of like MK11. Like, I don't remember a single positive thing said about that game. So it lasts like 2 years of its lifespan. But now we're all talking about like it was the holy grail, and it was like this game was so good, and it was just because, you know, and it's like. And I feel like MK is kind of like, it's judged right now on what it doesn't do, not what it does. It's like if it does something, it's like, oh great, it should have done that. Oh, if it doesn't do something, it's like, why don't we have this yet? And it's like,
we're not appreciative. We're not appreciative. And another thing to add to that, right? Like, all right, say the next game comes out, right? And like, say Subzero and Reptile's in the game, right? Say like Subzero beats the shit out of Reptile. There's nothing Reptile can do, but there's no cameos. It's like, you as a loyalist, now you gotta hold that. At least cameos kind of gives you like, all right, this shit didn't work, you can try this. Now I guarantee this game people are gonna be like, I kind of missed the cameos because now it's like I fucking snatch up. What am I going to do? I have nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm sure they'll add something. But like, you know, it's to be decided. You know, we'll see. But like, I know for sure people are gonna miss this game.
And I think like some people, it wasn't well received, I feel like, from the get-go, the whole cameo thing, and I feel like over time, and like I feel like when they do come out with a new game, I would prefer them not to have the cameo system, but I don't hate it. I like you said, like it allows you to deviate from the character that you have and add tools to them that, you know, like even like a variation system wouldn't be able to add, because you're using the tools from another character from either previous NRS games or if they made them up recently. And it's, like you're really allowed to play like 20 different variations of your character depending on what you want to do. Do you want to be mix-ups? Do you want to be damaged? Do you want to be a zoner? Do you want to be an anti-zoner? These are all options that your cameo gives you. So it is a bit sad that people haven't received it well. And I think it's cool. I think it was a cool idea. But yeah, like I said, people probably will miss it, and it just allows for a lot of creativity. So is there anything that you feel like I didn't ask you, we didn't talk about, that you want to talk about, whether it's MK or, you know, Kingsguard or anything like that, anything you want to shout out or anything?
I felt like, we didn't really get to speak a lot on Kingsguard, and the thing I want to say about Kingsguard, like me joining a team, it kind of almost feels like you become a part of a family. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like I feel like KGE really put my name out there. Like MK and J like gave me a platform, gave me a name, and then KGE like kind of like grabbed that and then just got the wheels running. And then, you know, like I got people supporting me on my team that's pushing me. Then it's like I'm wearing the tag. It's like, oh, this guy's from KGE. This guy's representing. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I just want to tell people like if it's a goal to join a team, whether it's a small team, big team, I say go out there and do it. Go out there and make friends, make connections, get better at the game, help yourself, and because it's one of the best experiences I've had. You know what I mean? It's like, if mind you, this is all stuff I did not know about in MK11. Like, I didn't know there was teams, this, that, and I didn't know about none of that shit. I just knew like about Evo and Combo Breaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's one thing I just wanted to mention. Like, and like I'm super appreciative of Coach Copper, like him helping me in the way he did. Hercules, you know,
Legends.
Victor Freeze, you know, like BNG's kids like 16, 17 years old, teaching me, you know, Mortal Kombat. Like, go out there, get a team, and it's amazing. Wait, you're in the same team as who?
Gambler and Wise Gemini.
Gambler Wise?
Yeah.
Look at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's, to me, that's amazing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's literally amazing.
Yeah, no, they are both like legends. The Community Gambler. Wise like an anomaly. Like he'll just disappear. So like I'm gonna go work on music for like 3 months, comes back and is like
I had some of his
better than everyone still. And it's like
yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
he's just so good at the game.
Yep.
Like he's just,
So literally came back. I'm watching him play, and I'm like watching him play in awe. I'm like, even though he like lost, I'm not trying to shit on him. Like even though he lost, it's like you know when you're watching a player,
yeah,
like you can see like if a player is just playing a template,
yeah,
and then you can see when players like God like
yeah.
like whoa, he reacted to that. Whoa, his movement, everything about him was just so godlike, and I'm like, all right, a Gambler, he's just one of those players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those players.
Yeah, it's like he really just like is able to get in like a flow and just play like super well. Because like I remember like I played like tournament sets against Gambler, and like his ability to kind of like if he comes out flat, like because it happens sometimes, you'll play a tournament set and before you know it you're down 0-2 or you lost the first game and you lost the first round, the second game, where it's like I am not even playing, like I need to focus on like watching. Like I've seen him so many times where it's like you know he loses the first game and then like he's just able to flip that switch every single time that like I kind of lock in, where it's like sometimes like I'll be playing and like I said, I'll lose 3-0 and I'll be like I wasn't even there like mentally. It's like
that happened to me at Evo. Like so my set, I just got off stream, right? I was like so excited. I'm like, oh my god, my family's all texting me like, we see you in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And then like the tournament organizer lady was like, oh, here's your next match. She's like walking to my next match. She's like, here, fight Big Daddy G. Or I'm like, you know, like shit, like I'm playing the game. I'm all happy playing the game. I'm listening to music, and then I stop my music. I look at Big Daddy G. He took me the first game. I'm like, why am I playing Smoke with music? I'm like, bro. And then, you know, I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, my game on stream was so cool. And then I'm like, bro, I just got 3-0'd. It was funny.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh shit, yeah. It's like, yeah, you're like kind of out of the adrenaline and stuff like that. Like,
the adrenaline was so high that I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
It's like you weren't even like thinking about it. It's like, wait, I should probably think more. It's like, wait, I should probably play with. I should probably react to these things. Like, I shouldn't be getting mixed by Smoke offline, but
I should have said the job's not done, but you know, I got excited.
Awesome, man. It's really cool. Thank you so much for coming on. I will say I have one last question that I wanted to ask you with, and then we'll leave it off from there. So, Defend the North, I feel like it wasn't a huge tournament, but I feel like that was probably, I'm not sure, would you consider that like kind of your standout tournament? You know, you made grand finals, you had that really close set, you almost had it. Do you feel like that was a tournament that like kind of like gave you confidence, or does that stand out to you at all, or is that just kind of another event to you? Do you feel like you really locked in? You feel like you played really well, or do you think it was?
I'll be 100% honest. There's not a day I don't think about that tournament, and it's not because I played second. It's because I lost and how I lost. It's like there's not a day I don't think about that. I feel like that was my one moment where I'm like, I did it. You know what I mean? And then like ever since then, I've been chasing it. I've been chasing, like, and this is why I was so disappointed in ECT. Like, fuck, you know what I mean? Now that we got like 10, 15 more players added to the pool, I'm not even placing top 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like Defend the North, like put such a stain on me, honestly.
Yeah.
And like it took a very long time to recover from, because it's like it's not like I just lost. You know what I mean? I'm up 2-0.
Yeah.
Winners, grand finals. All I need is one game.
Yeah.
A cameo switch changes everything. My adaptation just went out the window. Everything was just garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like it was so crushing. And then I met John Tobias' son. I was speaking to him before the tournament, telling him, because he said his father's favorite character Subzero, his favorite character Subzero. I'm thinking he's just a random kid. Then he tells me Tobias' son. And then I'm using Subzero. I'm representing Subzero.
Yeah.
And then the kid is rooting for me. Everybody's rooting for me, and it's just like I feel like I let everybody down with that. And then I'm getting praised. And then I'm not at the same time. It's kind of like all of that was just like it all came crashing down, and it just made me hungry.
Yeah,
Defender made me hungry.
I think that's good because like I feel like I can kind of go both ways. You can kind of be like, oh, like I almost had it, and then you didn't, and then it's like because progress isn't linear. I remember at Combo Breaker I had a really really close rewind where I had him basically he had like 2% health. I had like over 50. And like I had him in a knockdown situation, and all I needed to do was just time my meteorite, and I would have won. I got hit with wake up buttons. I ended up losing the set, and it's like I was playing over my head, super good. Go to losers, play a close set with a Melina player. I honestly couldn't even tell you their tag. They were good, but it was like okay, like I know. And then I played Furious Pello and ended up getting reverse 3-0'd. That would have been to make it out of pools, and it was like I went from playing over my head, potentially, probably what 100% would have been the biggest win of my MK career, MK11 previous games to date, and instead now I drowned in pools. I go to last chance qualifier a couple weeks later. I end up drowning in pools again, lose to 2 Garrus players, and now all of a sudden it went from if I just got that one hit, I would have went on the best run, got my biggest win, to I don't even know when the next tournament I'm going to is. Like it's weird, like it really does come down to like those moments. Like there's just like this one decision could have been completely different and stuff like that.
Man, it's so demoralizing, but like you said, it made. I mean, you those came before you made top 8 at ECT. I mean, no, not at ECT, at Defend the North, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
You made top 8 at Defend the North,
and
it's just like you get moments like that, and it's like you think back at, oh, I almost beat Rewind. There was so many times fucking almost beat Gurr, and I'm like, I'm gonna get you, George. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, I know exactly how you feel, and then it's like you just look back like, fuck, like why didn't I time my meaty right? You know what I mean?
Right. It was just like I look at it, was like I had such a big lead. It's like, why didn't I just back off? Like why did I try to beat it? Why didn't I just be like, just you have a lead, I have force ball, what's he gonna do? I trade with zoning, whatever. Like looking back, it was like just back off. Why am I in his face at that point?
Right, and then the funniest thing about it, right, is the difference between you and him is he's the Evo champion.
Yeah.
He's been before. So he's so calm in that situation.
Yeah, he's ready to make that decision, and that's what
he's losing. He got the shitty end of the stick.
Yeah.
And you got the good end of the stick, and it's swapped around because
he just made that one decision. That would have been like, in the hindsight, like wake up buttons. That's not something you're gonna teach someone to do. But he just knew to do it in that situation.
You do it. Yeah,
and just had it ready to go, and it was just like wow.
You were guessing. Like you were guessing on his wake up. You were guessing.
Yeah, no, because it's like if he armors stuff like that, it's like gotta time it right and stuff like that.
That comes experience. That's why I look back at Defend the North and I'm like, all right, I've had my run. Now I'm gonna go through a lot more, and I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna get my ass kicked. You know what I mean? Like so far, I've been having good runs. I would say like good, pretty decent runs.
You see some top 8
but
and stuff like that. First, Subzero to make top 8 in SRS. You know.
Right. First, I made it my goal to collect Infinity Stones, make top 8 in every TL event. Right now, Demon Lobby and TNS. Look out!
You're coming for it. Jusmeezy, watch out, guys.
I don't have I've got yet, but so like that's just basically it. You know, you got to keep going.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. That was a blast. Awesome hearing from you. You're just talking competitive, talking MK, talking KGE and stuff. Any last words before we get off here?
Fix Subzero. I'm done with the buff Subzero.
Fix the buffs. Make him a working character.
Fix all the bugs. You know what I mean? I don't want to have no stress. No, I'm fine with the way he is. Nobody's tier whoring him. I'm known as the guy. You know what I mean? Got Subzero gear on. Fix Subzero, please. If NRS hears me, they probably don't. But
well, hopefully, Ed Boon, if you're out here, if you're listening to this podcast,
just
fix Subzero. Don't even buff him. No buffs.
Not for
Get
the
rid of the
toxic
bugs.
stuff out there. For Meezy, just please.
Just for Meezy. Do it for Meezy. All right, man. Amazing, man.
I appreciate you so much, man.
Awesome, man. That's Kingard, Jusmeezy. signing off for the night. It's another episode of the Poseidcast, and we'll see you guys at the next video.
All right, guys.